A woman moves towards me pushing a pram, while an old man walks away. A person in black leaves a building and turns right, now walking towards me. A bird walks around in the middle of the road. A white car drives up Street B, but a woman walking down Street A beats it to the corner before stopping and grabbing the hands of two young girls. The man in black crosses the road, and a conversing man and woman cross in the opposite direction. They are followed by a single woman. The woman and the children she is with wait on the curb as a motorbike turns down Street B. They cross the road, crossing paths with a woman in a dress who walks on the diagonal to send her down Street B. A man in a high-vis steps out of the van parked up on the side of the road and takes a few steps away from me, facing towards an old man who slowly crosses the road. The man in high-vis squats down, working on something. A cyclist passes quickly, followed by another. The old man pauses on the pavement once he reaches the other side, and a cyclist passes him, as does a van and a couple of motorbikes. A single figure walks down Street A and crosses Street B without pausing. A girl pulling a suitcase reaches the corner and a cyclist overtakes her. Turning onto Street B, a woman in stripy trousers crosses, reaching the curb just as the girl and her suitcase step off onto the road. Another figure with a suitcase follows, but pauses to wait for a car. The old man leans against a wall. A man in a red shirt reaches the corner, speaking on his phone. In the distance, a woman rushes across the road. The man waits at the corner, pacing backwards and forwards, while two separate figures cross towards him and pass him by. The old man crosses back over the road and walks away while the worker in high-vis returns to his van. A young man walks around the corner, followed closely by a runner in a pink tracksuit, who soon catches up with him. A man in a yellow suit crosses the road and continues walking up Street A. The young man stops to stretch against the wall, while the woman in pink waits for him. A couple walk down Street A. As they finish crossing, the young man and pink woman continue walking away. The old man slowly crosses once again and the high-vis returns to his work. Another old man walks towards me, walking past the man in high-vis. The man in red continues pacing, then walks into the building on the corner just as a woman crosses towards him. A cyclist cycles towards me. A brown-haired woman quickly crosses Street A and continues down Street B. A man with a rucksack walks down Street A. Two buses cross in front of him, obscuring him from view. A figure in the distance walks towards me, passing the old man who still stands on the pavement. A woman with a shopping trolley crosses Street B diagonally to then walk down it, passing the distant figure, who is no longer distant. A teenager walks towards me, past the person in high-vis. A cyclist turns off Street A and goes down Street B. Two cyclists go down Street A but do not turn. The man in high-vis returns to his van just as a woman crosses the road pushing a pram. The old man starts to walk towards me and is overtaken by another figure. The old man stops. Two figures walk separately down Street A, both crossing the road and crossing paths with a man wearing a gilet. One turns to walk away from me. A man with a rucksack crosses Street A and heads down Street B. A girl in yellow leggings also crosses, but she turns to walk down Street A. Rucksack man walks past the old man. A girl in a black dress turns onto Street B. The man in high-vis gets into his van, then gets back out just as a runner runs down Street B. A woman walks diagonally across both Street A and Street B and proceeds to walk away from me. Two girls walk down Street A, chatting while wearing masks. A man in a purple t-shirt and matching socks walks across Street B and down Street A while the old man opens his arms to his sides and slowly walks towards me. He stops by a pillar and leans on it. A man in uniform crosses Street B and continues up Street A. A figure in yellow walks towards me and a duo in white t-shirts walk down Street A. A woman in yellow turns right to walk up Street A. A man in red crosses Street B and follows her up the road. A woman in all black follows behind. The man in high-vis once again gets in his van. A pair of figures walk towards me, passing the van. A police motorbike, with sirens on, speeds alongside the pair, beating them to the corner and turning to go down Street A. A regular motorbike takes the same journey in reverse. The duo turn right, crossing Street B and heading up Street A. A man in black follows them up the road. A woman with a pushchair reaches the corner, pausing for a second, but is let pass by the man in his van who has begun driving towards me. The woman and her buggy continue down Street A, and the van turns to head in the same direction. A woman, followed closely behind by another figure, does the same, as does the follower. A woman with a white dog turns off Street A onto Street B, and she proceeds to walk away from me. A woman crosses Street B, heading up Street A. A woman in white jeans follows close behind. A man with a rucksack quickly walks down Street A, practically jogging across the road as a van approaches the corner. In the distance, the woman with the white dog crosses the road and continues making her way down Street B. A figure walks down Street A, stopping at the corner long enough for a man in a red t-shirt to appear. They both cross the road and neither turn off. The old man continues to pace, leaning against a pole just as a cyclist passes, travelling towards me. The cyclist turns left onto Street A just as another cyclist crosses his path, turning to travel away from me down Street B. A third cyclist appears in the distance, crossing the second, heading towards me. A figure in white emerges at the end of the road. A man walks down Street A, dragging something behind him. He crosses the road just before the cyclist arrives, and continues down Street A. An old man in a shirt, however, is forced to wait while the bike turns down Street A. The man follows the bike down the road. The figure in white moves slightly into the road to avoid the old man, and a man with a bag over his shoulder walks down Street A. A figure all in green follows close behind. A man in a blue shirt crosses the opposite way, heading up Street A. He reaches the corner at the same time as the figure in white. A man in all black crosses the road, walking quickly down Street A. A woman with a red top and matching shoes follows from a distance. She is followed by a glamorous woman in a peach dress. Opposite me, the curtains of the top corner flat blow open in the wind. A cyclist in red travels towards me. Two black cars wait for a couple to cross as they make their way up Street A. The red cyclist wobbles and comes to a stop at the corner before turning left down Street A. A man in black and a boy slowly riding his bike on the pavement appear at the same time, on opposite sides, and cross each other at the corner. Another pavement cyclist appears, heading quickly down Street A. The old man has slowly wandered away from me again and now crosses the road once more. A boy in a white T-shirt crosses the road, moving up Street A. A cyclist heads towards me before pulling up to the side of the road and dismounting, appearing to meet the old man. A figure turns off Street A and onto Street B, in the direction of the old man and the cyclist, who have gone their separate ways. The cyclist heads back away from me. A figure with a cane is just visible to my left, standing still. He is overtaken by another man with a cane, prompting him to start moving. A woman crosses the road, walking up Street towards the cane men. As she reaches the pavement, a woman appears, walking down Street behind the other two. The first crosses the road, while the other two pause on the corner. The old man crosses Street B diagonally, heading back towards me. A lone man walks down Street A, and as he passes the pair on the corner, they start to walk. All three head down Street A. The old man reaches the corner and turns up Street A. A woman in a jumpsuit walks up Street A, followed closely by a man in black, who is followed closely by a man pushing a buggy. A blonde woman crosses in the opposite direction. A grey-haired man crosses Street B on his way up Street A. A figure in a white cap heads up Street B towards me. A woman in a white dress walks down Street A, crossing Street B and reaching the corner at the same time as the man in the cap. A man holding a pole crosses Street B in the opposite direction. A couple of men walk up Street A, and a figure heads up Street B towards me, passing the black van which has just pulled up. A figure leaves the building on the corner and approaches a motorbike that is waiting on the pavement. A woman passes the motorbike as she is walking down Street A. She stops at the corner for the cars to pass before crossing. A man exits the van while the delivery man mounts his motorbike and enters the road, turning to head down Street A. Two figures pass behind him, diagonally crossing the road and heading down Street B. A small bird flies low across Street B. A man in all black crosses Street A, then Street B, and continues down Street A. A man in a pink t-shirt walks down Street A, and a man in a red t-shirt follows at a distance. The two figures on Street B turn left into a building. The man is still interacting with the black van. A man in uniform walks slowly down Street A, pausing briefly at the corner before crossing Street B. He crosses paths with a group of 4 adults, and all 5 must weave around the line of cars waiting to turn. The black van drives away and the figure heads up Street B towards me. A woman in an orange shirt walks up Street A, carrying a large bag. A man in a sweater vest carrying a loaf of bread walks down Street A. A figure in white appears briefly at the top middle window opposite me, before moving away. A man in black heads towards me, walking quickly. In the distance, a figure crosses Street B. A man in a white vest runs towards me, and the figure in white appears briefly once again at the window. Both the runner and the man in black turn left down Street A. A glamorous woman in a white blouse walks down Street A and reaches the corner as a man pulling a trolley crosses the road in the opposite direction. The man crosses path with a woman with a red shoulder bag. The woman crosses Street B and heads down Street A. A group of birds land on the pavement halfway down Street B. A man in grey walks down Street A. The figure in white is just visible, moving around behind the window. A woman in black walks down Street A, reaching the corner just after a cyclist turns onto Street B, cycling away from me. The woman crosses after he has gone and continues down the road. A delivery man on a motorbike turns onto the pavement on the corner outside the building. As he gets off his bike, a sunburnt woman turns the corner and heads down Street B. The delivery man enters the building. A jogger turns off Street A and goes down Street B. On the opposite side of the road, a man in black walks towards me. In the distance, a figure crosses the road. The jogger overtakes the sunburnt woman. A couple of women walk separately up Street B towards a red van which is pulled up on the side of the road. A man exits the van just as the women reach it, but they both pass by and turn onto Street A. A woman pushes a buggy up Street A. At the corner she crosses paths with a man in a mask who walks down Street A. A figure crosses the road in the distance. A man with his head down walks up Street A, passing in front of the waiting car. As he crosses Street B, a white van pulls up behind the red, and a man in an orange high-vis steps out. A woman walks quickly down Street A. The man in the high-vis carries a box towards me. A pigeon flies onto the roof of the flats opposite. The man from the red van is still rummaging around. An old man with a walking stick walks down the street as a woman in black walks up it. They pass each other on the corner. The man leaves his red van and walks towards me with a stack of boxes, just as the old man steps onto the road. The man with the boxes crosses Street B, heading up Street A. A woman holding a coffee cup follows behind from a distance. A man holding a plastic bag turns off Street A and heads down Street B. A man with a Sainsbury's bag crosses Street A and walks down Street B. He is followed by a woman and two children. In the distance, a figure crosses the road and gets into a car. The family stops on the corner, and a young man leaves the building next to them. The family cross Street B while the young man pauses briefly on the pavement. A man crosses Street B in the opposite direction, heading up Street A. The young man crosses, reaching the other side just as a man in grey appears, walking in the opposite direction. The man with the Sainsbury's bag turns left to enter a building, leaving the streets empty. Leaving the streets empty. Leaving the streets empty.